Hi everybody, my name is Matt Carter. I'm one of the mountain shakers from Shake the Mountain Movement, and today is Worship Wednesday. And I just want to talk to you guys about identity, the importance of knowing your identity, being confident in your identity, and being confident in who God called you to be. I just want to take you guys to Genesis, the book of Genesis, out of chapter 3, and we're going to lead up to verse 5. But in this chapter, you see the enemy, the devil, has now approached Adam and he's approached Eve, and he's talking some good game to Eve, and asking her why she can't eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil and whatnot. And I don't know, for some reason she decided to talk back to him. But the enemy approaches her with something that I see Eve messing with her identity with, and it goes in verse 5 where the enemy says to her, "If you eat of this fruit, you will be like God." Just read that scripture. It says, he says to her, "If you eat of this fruit, you will be like God." Why or what was wrong with who Eve was that God had created her to be? What was her issue? What was wrong with herself? She had an identity issue. She wasn't okay with the creation that God had put inside of her. She wasn't okay with the way she looked. She wasn't okay with the way she sounded. She wanted to change some things. She wanted to formulate some things. She wanted to be in a whole nother identity, in a whole nother role other than who God had called her to be. So today on this Worship Wednesday, I want to challenge you guys, because there's no way, it's impossible to be something that you're not. There's so many individuals, so many even Christians, so many outside of being a Christian that are walking identity theft, that don't even know who they are. And I just want to challenge you today to read that scripture. We're going to come back to this next week, but I want to challenge you to read actually the whole chapter. Read chapter 3, but highlight verse 5 and look in the mirror of your life and say to myself, is there anything that the enemy has approached me with that he said something to me about who I am and about who God has called me to be? And I've tried to do this, and I've tried to be that, and I try to do all these other things other than what God has called me to be. What is wrong with God's creation? He's the ultimate creation, y'all. But we're going to get right back to it next week. Love you. God bless you. Have a great Worship Wednesday.